Now let's see this shortest remaining time first. The name itself says that it is actually we are going to take the shortest jobs but in a different way, and it is actually based on burst times criteria, and the mode is preemptive, which means even when a process is running we are going to stop it and then schedule the other one if the situations are like that. Okay, so let's see this example. With example it will be clear and easy to explain. So now watch it. So I am going to start at time t equal to 0, and at that time only one process is available, right? So which is nothing but P1. So at time 0 only P1 is available. I have no other option, therefore I am going to schedule P1. Fine. And now once I schedule P1 here, I'll just be careful. I'll not directly completely run it to execution, completion. Then what I do is I stop it at every 1 unit of time and then check in meanwhile, which means during this time, if I got any other process, right? Which means I'm going to stop at this point when the time is 1, and then I'll just check in this time if any process got available and what is the time required for that. So one thing you should be careful is you have already executed P1 for 1 unit, therefore the processing time here is going to be reduced to 6, right? And now we are going to check the next one. So what is it? It is nothing but I'm checking if any process is available by 1. So by the time we reach 1, the time 1, the process available will be P2. Therefore now I have P1 and P2 both available, and one is having a completion time of 6, remaining time of 6, and other is having a remaining time of 5. So you could choose any one of them, right? But then depending on the shortest burst time, I am supposed to choose P2. Therefore the next one which is chosen is P2, right? And now for P2, what is the burst time? It is actually 5, but then we don't run it to completion. We just run till 1 unit and then check it and then stop and see. So now I have did this P2 for 1. I executed P2 for 1 unit. Therefore the remaining time will be 4. Now the time is 2. By the time 2, when the arrival time, by the time 2, I'll see what are the process available. So one more process got available, which is P3. Now I have P1, P2 and P3 available, and the P3's burst time is 3. Therefore the shortest one among all these is P3. Therefore I'll take P3 and I'll schedule it. For how long? Just for 1 unit, and then I'll wait. So since I executed for 1 unit, therefore what is the time here? So the remaining time is 2, and now the time is 3. So when the time is 3, I have one more process arriving, which is P4. Therefore I have P1, P2, P3, P4, right? And now I am going to choose one of them. So which one is the minimum among P1, P2, P3, P4? P4 is the minimum. So P4 is going to be here, scheduled here. And anyway I'll run it for 1 unit. I don't have any other option. I have to run it for 1 minute only because the burst time is 1 unit, and then stop it. Anyway it is going to be stopped. Now the time is 4, and what are the processes which are available? P1, P2, P3, P4, and then P5, but P4 is over, therefore you need not worry about it. P4 is not there, right? So among this P1, P2, P3, P5, you just check which one is having the least time. So which one is having the least time here? So we have two processes which are having the least remaining time. One is P3 and the other is P5. Sorry, P5. Yeah, P3 and P5. But you have to pick the one which is having the least arrival time. So which one is having the least arrival time? P3. Therefore you are supposed to pick P3 itself, right? And now P3 has to be run for 1 unit, which means till 5, and then you should stop it and check it. Since you have run P3 for 1 unit, the remaining time will be 1, and now you just check it if any process has arrived. Yes, one more process has arrived whose process ID is P6 and whose time is 1. So I have now P1, P2, P3, P5, P6 except P4. I have all the process. In all these processes you are not supposed to see once you have all the process available completely, right, then you need not stop for every unit of time. The reason is now it is nothing but the shortest job first. Simple. Why are we stopping here after every unit of time is just to check if a new process with shorter burst time has now become available. But once all of them have become available, then once I pick the least burst time, then there is no way after executing the least one for some time someone else will become the least. Why? Because if someone else is least, that would have been picked up earlier, right? Therefore in this case, once all the processes become available, then this algorithm is nothing but shortest job first. The reason is, the algorithm is nothing but you could execute it as if it is non-preemptive version, right? So now you could take the shortest one and you could keep on executing them one by one. So what is the next one that has to be executed? All of them are available. You can pick the least one. Least one is 1 and 1 here, but then the arrival time of P3 is less. Therefore I am going to schedule P3 itself, right? And now what is it? It is 1 unit 6 and it is 0. Therefore P3 is over. And next one will be P6. So P6 will be scheduled. It requires only 1 unit, therefore 7, and therefore it is going to be over. So P6 is over. And now I have 3 processes, P5, P1, P2. Then which one will be picked up first? P5 will be picked up, right? Then what is the time for that P5? It is 2 units, therefore it is 9, right? Yeah, and therefore P5 will be over, which means this will be 0, right? And then which one will be picked up next? The next one that will be picked up is after P5, only one is okay. P1 and P2 are remaining. Among these two, the shortest one is P2. Yes, P2 will be picked up, whose time will be 9 plus 4, which is 13, right? Yeah, 9 plus 4, which is 13, right? And then the next one which will be picked up is P1, the last one. So this is also 0, and next finally this one will be picked up, which will be run for 6, therefore 19. So P1 takes 19. Got it? So this is how you could implement this shortest remaining time first. So the concept is like this: even though you are picking the best one, the shortest one, at some point, at some time, you just execute it for 1 unit and check if there is any better process available. If any better process is available which is having a burst time less than the remaining time of this process, then preempt it and continue with the other one. And then other one also you stop it and see. So till how long should I stop it? Until all the process become available. Once all the process become available, it will now become the non-preemptive version, which means we are not going to stop any process once we pick the least one. Got it? And the remaining factors can be filled out directly. So if you want me to fill it, I'll just fill it out. Okay. And now this will not have convoy effect, because even if a process is very big, even though it has been scheduled, after some time the shorter process will take care of it, which means the shorter process will get into the execution, right? So once they become available, so it is not going to be having any effect with that convoy effect. Starvation is not there. Now let's see this. Now completion time. So completion time of P1 is, you have to come from the end. So see, whenever you try to write the completion time, always come from the end. The reason is P1 is going to occur many times, right? And the last time at which P1 has occurred is going to give you the completion time. If you go like this, it will just give you the first time at which P1 has been executed, right? So come from the end, the last time at which it has executed is there. So completion time of P1 is 19, and P2 is 13, and P3 is 6, and P4 is 4, and P5 is 9, P6 is 7, right? That is about the completion time. And what about turnaround time? Turnaround time is completion time minus this, so which is 19, 12, 4, 1, 5, 2. This is the turnaround time. And what is waiting time? Waiting time is, I told you, waiting time is turnaround time minus burst time, right? Then what is it? 12, then 7, then 1, 0, 3, 1. This is the waiting time, right? Now you can find out average waiting time and average turnaround time. And then sometimes they'll ask you what is the response time. So response time is nothing but after a process has arrived, how long does it take for you to schedule it for the first time? How long does it take for you to run it for the first time? For example, see this, P1 is running immediately, therefore response time is 0. And then P2 is running at time unit of 1, and it is arrived at 1, so immediately it is running, so it is fine. but P3 has arrived at 2 and then it is running at 2, therefore the response time is 0. And then P4 also arrived at 3 and it running at 3, therefore response time is 0. And then yes, P6, if you see P6 arrived at time 5, but it was running at time 6 for the first time, therefore wait, response time is 1. You have to wait for 1 unit of time. Like that you can find out the response time. Not very important, but just you could know about it. So this is all about the shortest remaining time first. It is a basic modification of shortest job first with it is even better compared to it. Anyway, it cannot be applied practically, it cannot be implemented practically. The reason is we never know, or we can never guess accurately what is the burst time for every process. Any algorithm which is based on burst time can never be implemented practically because we cannot guess the burst times. But if you have a mechanism using which you could guess the burst times, maybe you could use it, right? Fine.